Dr. Abdul Qadir, now the cultural tourism, the beach tourism, they're quite popular and active here in Egypt. But also there's the incentive tourism that you pointed out is quite important and we need to focus more on. Can you please shed light on how we can encourage and strengthen the incentive tourism here in Egypt?
Well, I'm glad that we are going to talk about that, and Mr. Mnabawi is one of the leading figures in Egypt and the Middle East, working, diligently on promoting convention, business meeting, and incentive travel. For example, if we look at the United Arab Emirates, it's basically, like a hub for incentive meetings and convention and exhibitions. And last year they made about 16 million visitors, in 2019. And they still, with the Dubai Expo this October, they expect about 25 million visitors. So incentive travel, is a major earner, is a top, money maker for the businesses. And frankly, from a tourism point of view and hospitality, revenue generated from the incentive travel ranks #1 in that field. So luckily, alhamdulillah, that we have lots of culture and ecological antiquities. We have the resorts. We have partially, medical tourism. We have education. We have really an excellent niche for all major types of tourism. But, for some time we've been relaxing, and behind in the competition, in the region that we have, major destinations, like the Emirates, like we have Jordan, we have Turkey, we have Cyprus, we have Greece, and Tunisia. This is our, direct and next door competition. So in Egypt, we have to dedicate, and Ministry of Tourism and the private sector, major attention for developing major, meeting and convention facilities. For example, like El Tagamma, we need to have a convention center on October 6th, and Alexandria and major cities, because this is where the money is. So, and I'm glad that you talked to Mr. Mnabawi about how European market is going to be soon, approaching Egypt next month. There's a deal between Egypt Air and Turkish Airlines that from major world capitals like Switzerland, like Germany and Austria, they're going to be having weekly, charters flying and bringing visitors to Marsa Alam, to Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh.
Doctor, now, you've earlier mentioned the importance of the private sector and what it could do to strengthen the tourism sector, especially with millions of incoming tourists in the next period. Now, how would you explain or describe or direct the private sector to cooperate within the tourism sector? Are we talking about opening new hotels? Are we talking about establishing new transportation companies? Are we talking about marketing and promotional activities and tourism in Egypt? How would you define, or maybe even opening new restaurants?
Well, actually, it's if this is like a quiz, it's all of the above. We need to do all of this. For example, for some time we had halt of services. For example, last week, we started initiating the service for the ferry service between Nuweiba and Aqaba. This is again one extension we need. Egypt Air is having, direct flights between Sharm and Hurghada. Again, many visitors need this. And in major metropolis, like Alexandria, Cairo, Luxor, Aswan, the private sector, have to develop services that will cater, to the visitors, to the local, the GCC region that come. For example, I meet, experts, expats from all over the world. They come to Egypt and they say there's no entertainment. I mean, this is a major sector that you have to develop. At one point, we used to have Ahmed al-Din. We used to have about 10, 15 theaters, between drama and, comedy. But we don't have. So visitors, when they come to Egypt, they need, we have about 20 movie theaters that has been shut down downtown Cairo. So our visitors, they go to cafes, they like to go to theaters, they like to go to entertainment locations. This is one area that, like we shouldn't be settling down with like cafe where people, like eat and drink and smoke. I mean, this is not a world trend, but you need to have, like budget class, outlets and a variety of international menus and quality. I was talking yesterday to Ms. Ola Hakim. She is Quality Assurance Under Secretary for the Ministry of Tourism. And they go now, currently they have a plan to go nationwide and check on the facilities and rank them and upgrade the skills, of the human resources. Really, to have invigorate, the local services to make it like world-class quality, like when you go to the GCC countries and you compare to the services in Egypt. This is one issue that should be dedicated to the private sector, not government anymore, because government has major responsibilities, education, health, and etc. So this is this is a great money maker as well, and profit revenues for them.
Do you feel that the summer season is a good opportunity to actually see a spike in the tourism revenue, especially with many countries talking about totally lifting all the restriction measures they've had during the whole year of the pandemic?
Definitely, yeah, because we have been, so redundant for over 16 months now, and the whole world has been on hold as well for the lockdown. But now, we are lucky because the reputation of our year-round resorts, like Marsa Alam, Gara, Sharm el-Sheikh, Dahab, Nuweiba, all of them, they are even like a niche market. Like the Russians, they love Gara, the Italians, they love Sharm el-Sheikh, and then you have the Germans, all of them, each nation has its own niche on the Egyptian resorts, and then inshallah shortly we'll be going to Alamein and Sahel, and all this is a very promising and prestigious area as well. So that was a genius idea to have Al Alamein as well, because now we have the Lausanne Hotel School, we have major universities, we have the Naval Academy, colleges and associations. So we are developing all over Egypt, and this is the vision of our political administration, and President Abdel Fattah Sisi, and with the network of thousands of miles of network of roads that is going to be making tourism to Egypt accessible, apart from marine travel and road travel and air travel as well.
Well, how soon do you think the North Coast will be ready to receive international tourists? Because it is very, very popular among Egyptians to go to the North Coast and Alexandria and the whole time. And you've mentioned the new Alamein city. When should we expect it to be fully operational?
Well, shortly, because many of these projects I've been mentioning, they are in effect now. They completed, and I have friends who have projects over there. They work year-round. It used to be like a summer, resort for us, 5-6 months of the year. But not anymore. Now we have fine educational systems over there, professional hotel schools, airports, seaports as well, and an excellent network of highways connecting it. And then soon we are going to have the bullet train ranking all the way from Ain al-Sokhna up to Alamein. And this is going to be linked as well to the administrative capital, which is like half an hour away from here, from downtown Cairo. So really all these projects, are going to be in effect shortly, inshallah, and currently we are enjoying Easter now.
Yes.
So lots of these Russian tourists, they are Orthodox, and they love to visit Egypt, by this time of the year, and we like to say Happy Easter to our, friends in Egypt here and worldwide as well.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, a lot of good news is taking place today. The resumption of direct flights between Egypt and Russia as a result of the phone call between President Abdel Fattah Sisi and the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Also, as Dr. Abdel Eder mentioned, there's a lot to be optimistic about for the tourism sector in the near and very far future as well. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Dr. Yehia Abdel Eder, the tourism consultant. Dr. Abdel Eder, always a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Hani Saif. Thank you for joining us.